Hey guys, we got the download for the new Legends Rising banner, which is Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan God Goku and Super Saiyan God Vegeta. They are down here. As always, we are going to do the breakdown, and I have the Super Saiyan 4 Goku pulled up as a reference just for the stats. There's only 2 new units this time, so there might be a little bit of a shorter breakdown than normal, but here we go. Super Saiyan God Goku. He's purple type. We saw that last night. He's actually a defense type, which is interesting because I feel like the God Key team doesn't really have a defense type, which is actually something that I was talking about earlier on Twitter. I said in order for like these guys to be really like super useful for their teams, I feel like they're going to have to either be very extreme in the area of defending or attacking. So this guy being a defense type is already telling me that that's a good sign for, building a team around this guy. So to start off with, his stats are a little bit on the lower end. Even being a defense type, you would expect him to have a little bit higher stats than this, but these aren't bad, definitely not. 195,000 blast attack, 190,000 strike. I mean, this Goku has a 209, but obviously he's a beast when it comes to offensive damage. Blast attack is not that great, but I mean, this is not terrible. I mean, he's obviously more blast oriented than strike oriented, but it's pretty close. Defense is 136, 139, Goku's at 136, 137, so it's not that big of a difference. HP, this guy's 1.27, Goku has 1.26, so I mean, it's pretty close, right? Obviously, Goku probably has better overall stats. He's above him, so yeah, he does. But stats are not terrible. They're not great. They're in the middle. His main ability is Quelling Force. Draw a special arts card next, so he draws a green card. Restores on health by 25%, cancels own attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions, cancels enemy attribute upgrades. Okay, that's good. Drawing a special arts card is actually really good, because we saw that in the preview it is the one that stuns them, like pretty much like Janemba's. And Janemba's main ability also draws a special arts card. And it's pretty useful as well, so that's good. Unique ability 1 is Omnipotent Godly Aura. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 25 to all arts cost, okay, for 5 timer counts when changing cover. Okay, so when this guy switches in, he makes the enemy's arts cards cost 25 more, which is actually really good, because it basically allows them to, it basically stops them from continuing the combo. The following effects occur when this character evades an enemy attack with a vanishing stat plus 25% of damage inflicted for 15 timer counts and minus 5 to own arts cost for 10 timer counts. Okay, so I guess you want to evade with this guy and try and get that perfect vanish. 25 damage and 100% damage, and then minus 5 to own arts cost. It's not terrible. Struggle against the onslaught reduces damage received by 15% for 10 timer counts when this character enters the battlefield. While this character is on the battlefield, applies the following effects to self every time the character uses a strike or blast arts. It reduces damage received by 10% for 5 timer counts, plus 25% to damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. Wow, 20 timer counts is a while. So this is a way more powerful ability than this one is. I think about this for a second. So every time he uses Strike or Blast Arts cost, he reduces his damage received by 10% for 5 timer counts. So this might actually be a guy that you aren't going to want to use a bunch of sidesteps for if you want to, build that up. Because if you're sidestepping and you're like charge stepping and you're tackle stepping or whatever they call it, that's going to eat up the clock for the amount of time you have left on this this stack of 10% damage reduction. So it's kind of counterintuitive to what this guy wants to be doing. He wants to be attacking a bunch and then stacking this up so that next time he receives an attack, he'll be eating less damage. And then he also gets this 20% of damage inflicted for 20 timer counts per Striker Blast Arts cost used. Per Striker Blast Arts card used. That's pretty good. This is probably the best part of his guy's kit that I've seen so far. Even though he's a defense type, this will stack up a lot. 20 timer counts again is a long time. He actually has this part of the blast. Blast inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 2 to blast arts cost for 15 timer counts on hit. So every time this guy uses a blast card, the enemy will have plus 2 to their blast arts cost. That's interesting. It's not super OP, but it's actually you can see that come into play. This guy's doing a lot of disruption, which I think is actually really good for the team. Special is Gravity Bash. You can teach it to Shallot, by the way. Does major impact damage, inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10 to all arts cost for 10 timer counts. So yeah, again, this goes into the theme that I was talking about earlier. He's doing a lot of disruption. Arts cost increase, he does this to arts cost increase, screen card we saw does like an immobilization thing, he He's pretty tanky. What is his green card? Let's just see. Godbind. The following effects occur on hit. Immobilizes the enemy. Okay. We restore own ki by 50. Wow, that's a lot. That's something that Janemba... I wish Janemba's did, because normally what would happen... Because I think Janemba's cost... How much does Janemba's cost? Like 20 or so? The green card? Maybe even more? A lot of times you would use the green card and then you just run out of ki. You have nothing to do. Or you'd have no cards in your hand. So that's good. Restoring your own ki by 50 is really, really good on this green card. Plus 30% of damage inflicted by allies. So, all allies. Okay. So the reason why that's really good is because you can just use this on somebody and then switch out to, let's say, Perfect Cell. Or not Perfect Cell, because he wouldn't be on this team. So you would immobilize the enemy, switch out to, I don't know, Beerus, use his main ability, and then just combo into an ultimate and just one shot, because you get this 30% damage increase. And they're stunned, so they can't do anything. Inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade, plus 30% of damage received. Okay, and he has blast armor. That's also very important. Janemba does not have blast armor, but it is a counter. Huh. I think I like this better than Janemba's green card, actually. You just have to be a lot more careful when using it, because obviously it is not a counter. So Janemba's, I think, is easier to use overall, but this effect is just way more powerful. I mean, you get this, so it's basically a double whammy. You get triple whammy. You get a ki restore, and a buff, and a debuff on your enemy. That's really powerful. Like I said, you use this, switch out into Beerus, use your main ability into an ult, and you're pretty much just dead. There's not really many types of enemies that can, absorb that hit. Barring, like, a bunch of bulky purple units like Super Vegeta or Transforming Cooler. He holds a blast and a strike card, and his Z ability, God Keeps, blast defense. Is it double defense because it's a defense type? It is. 30% at 6-star. That is a pretty good Z ability. 35. I like this guy a lot, actually. God, it's gonna be hard to evaluate this guy before using him. He seems really good. Yeah, like I said, he does a lot of disruption, and we could even see that with this green card too, like the mobilizing, increase the cost on this, increase the cost right here, increase the cost, through this. Basically, everything he's doing is just making your enemy's life hell. So this guy's going to be very, very annoying to fight, but I like him. For the God Ki team, I think he would actually fit pretty well. So I'm excited to try him out if I can pull him. Next, we have Vegeta. He is a transforming unit. He is a range type, which is interesting because the last God Vegeta we got was a melee type. And I feel like we don't have that many range types on the God Ki team right now. I mean, we have Beerus, we have Blue Goku. That's pretty much it, I think. I mean, Whis is kind of a semi-range type, even though he's a support. Stats. Look at this guy's blast attack, pre-transformation. And they did update DBZ Space, by the way, for that. It will show the stats on here. I mean, his strike attack's a little low, but take a look at this blast attack. 212,000, that's more than Super Saiyan 4 Goku's strike attack. Defenses are 136, 137, and Vegeta's at 133, 137, so it's not even that bad of a defense. I mean, strike defense is a little bit low. Oops. We'll take a look at the transform stats later, but it's gonna get out of hand. Main ability is Scarlet Descent. Transform into Super Saiyan God, restores own health by 20%, nullifies own abnormal conditions for 30 timer counts. That's a long time. Unique ability is Warm Up, applies the following effects to self every time when faced with an enemy. So every time an enemy switches in, we saw this kind of mentioned in the Twitter post, the teaser yesterday. -5 to blast arts cost for 10 timer counts. And increases arch card draw speed by 1 level. So if you're... Yeah, that's the golden duo. That's what I like to call those two things together. Reduce cost, and then increase arch card draw speed. That's what Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta has, too. It's really powerful, because you can just charge stuff through, like, 5-6 blast arts cards at once with this. So whenever an enemy switches out... So let's say you get an enemy to switch out, and you combo them, and then switch out again. You'll have -10, and then 2 arch card draw speed levels. I mean, it's not going to be a scenario you'll see that often, but just, it's there in case. Next one is Insatiable Battle Hunger, plus 15% of damage inflicted for 15 timer counts every time a strike or blast arts card is drawn while this character's on the battlefield. Very similar to how GT Goku operates. Let's see if we can pull him up. I don't know if I can even find him on here. GT Goku. He gets damage every time he draws a blast card, I know for sure. Yeah. 15% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts every time a blast arts card is drawn. We go over to Vegeta. It is the exact same thing, except it's blast and strike, which is big. Okay, and by the way, keep in mind, this is pre-transformation. He only needs 20 timer counts to elapse too for transform, which is a little bit longer than I think most units. I think most units are like 10 to 15. This one's 20. It's not that big of a deal. Standard strike and blast arts cards. Special is Gallic Gun. Deals major impact damage. Randomly draws one new card on hit. That's an interesting one. We haven't seen that one before, but I like that. Extra. The green card is. Oops, sorry about that. Extra is unlock key rapid blast form. 15% to blast damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. Changes own strike arts cards to blast arts cards. It's it's kind of basic, but it's good because the changing of strike to blast is really helpful, especially paired up with this because he only reduces the cost of blast arts cards, right? And what does he buff? Vegeta family. Interesting. I thought he buffed God Key. Blast attack and defense. Yeah, 35% is a lot. That's 6-star. Yeah, it's a Vegeta family. Okay. Alright, well, let's see what he does after transforming. Look at his stats, by the way. 204. Obviously, this is a 6-star, but 248,000 blast attack. That's pretty ridiculous. Like, that is like actually just really dumb. Oh, by the way, for health, I was looking at the wrong thing earlier. Goku has 2.13, and then Super Saiyan 4 has 2.03. So Goku has more health than God has more health than Super Saiyan 4, and then Vegeta has 2.34 when transformed. Untransformed, he has 2.02. So, I mean, this is insanely high. Main ability is What a Waste. Destroys all of your cards and randomly draws 4 new ones. Okay, that's pretty good. And then restores one key by 60. That's kind of like how Purple Trunks' main ability is after transformation, right? He like destroys all his cards, draws new ones, and then he gets key back. Okay. Unique is Godly Valor. Applies the following effects to self every time when faced with an enemy, so the same sort of thing whenever an enemy switches into this guy. -5 to blast arts cost for 15 timer counts. Increases arts card draw speed by 1 level for 10 timer counts. Restores own Vanishing Gauge by 60% when this character evades an enemy attack with a Vanishing Step. Activates twice. That is really good. Because if you... Let's say you get a perfect vanish on somebody. You're gonna have 60% of your vanishing gauge instantly restored, and then if you go into a combo with it's gonna be very easy to combo with this guy. Like I'm talking long combos, like 5, 6, 7 arch cards in a row, because of this part of his passive or this part of his unique ability. His vanishing gauge is gonna be fully restored by the time you're done doing that. So that's really strong. Insatiable Battle Hunger, randomly destroys 1 enemy card and reduce their key by 20 when this character enters the battlefield. Okay. Plus 15% of damage inflicted for 15 timer counts every time a strike or blast card is drawn while this character is on the battlefield. Because that's sort of the same. Only difference is like to destroy 1 card and then reduce their key, which is not crazy. It's kind of good for switching in terms of cover cut or cover changing. Because if you happen to destroy a Dragon Ball or something, then it gets a lot of value, and then reducing key is also really good. It's what Yellow Full Power Frieza does as well on his cover cut as well. God Heat Flash is the special move. Deals major impact damage plus 20% to special move damage inflicted for 10 timer counts upon activation, and then he still randomly draws the 1 new card. And then his green card is 30 timer counts. Is that the same? Let me just make sure. No, it goes up by 10 seconds. Okay, that's 30 seconds is a long time. So it's pretty solid green card. Holds 2 blasts, and then yeah, that's it. I mean, they fulfill completely different roles. This guy is just like a very hard hitter, and then this guy is going to be just like dancing circles around your opponent while they have no key. I don't know. I kind of like God Goku better. Might be crazy to say, but I like the Vegeta. I like them both, but I think if I had to choose one or the other, oh man, it's tough because this Vegeta, like his stats are just crazy. I don't know. I think this God Goku I'm gonna have a lot more fun using. I'll just say that. But they both seem pretty good to me. This is the banner, the Legends Rising Volume 11 banner. It is a normal Legends Rising banner. Has Broly on there, who no one really cares about. Has this Goku, which no one really cares about, except for the Z ability. This guy, no one really cares about. So you really only care about these 4. Gogeta's still very, very good on fusions. And then this guy's, you know, he's decent on God Ki, but he's not, like, crazy good. And then the 2 new units. So this banner really isn't great. I would easily say this is a skip for most players, unless, you know, you can afford to spend money on the game. This is just, you know, classic skip banner. There's no steps, there's no discounts. I mean, we're not sure yet if there's going to be discounts. I mean, it doesn't say anything here besides a daily. And this is the only banner that was data mined. There's nothing else there. But there is this ticket banner, which we'll get to in a second, but it doesn't look like there's going to be that many incentives to summon on here, besides, obviously, for the chance at one of these 4 guys. But, I mean, there are much better banners that will come up later, so I would recommend skipping. But something else to note is we do have this. I'm not sure where you would get these tickets from. Maybe just missions or whatever. But this is not a Sparking Guaranteed ticket. This is just a single summon ticket, so it acts similarly to how the bronze tickets currently work for the Ultra Space Time Banner 19. It's just a single summon, and then you could use 10 obviously to do a multi. Same rates. It's you know, it's just like it's basically the same thing as a normal banner, except you're using tickets instead of crystals to summon on it. Maybe they do a thing where it's because obviously you can see there's no 30 Z power on here, so they're not gonna have that here. So maybe they'll do a thing where if you summon, every time you do a multi-summon, you get like 2, 3, 4 tickets, and then you can accumulate those over X amount of multi-summons and then do, you know, more summons later. Dokkan did something similar to that before, so that's a possibility. We'll have to see. I'm not really sure right now. And then there is... That's not what I wanted to show. That's pretty much it. I mean, I was looking through the items for the equips, if there's any new equips here. I didn't see anything. I saw on Twitter that someone had data mined a Vegeta equip that looked new, but I don't see it here. So if I'm missing it, let me know, but I don't see it on here anywhere. It might just be that it isn't uploaded to DBZ Space yet, but yeah, I haven't seen it. There's no new events either. The only thing is they are bringing back the Android 20 event, which is whatever. And then I think there's a new story, like stage or whatever, but that's pretty much it. This is not a very big update. It's just the new banner, and then that's it. So let me know down below who you guys are more excited for, Vegeta or Goku. If you guys are summoning, again, I do not recommend it. This banner is not great, to be honest, and by the looks of it, there aren't going to be that many discounts or incentives to summon on here. So that is all we have for today. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.